Oracles of Olympus. Welcome to Oracles of Olympus, a weekly talk show about tabletop games, comics, movies, and all kinds of nerd rants and raves and tangents. Now, join Kyle, CJ, and GM Drew as they give their take on all things nerdy. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
CJ.
Yes, hello
You
everyone.
want to introduce yourself? Also, what games have you been playing this week?
What game? I just got done with some Star Wars Legion today.
Yeah.
I also did Kill Team,
Mhm.
and I
Saw
did
that.
Age of Sigmar.
All minis.
All minis.
Jamming it.
Yeah, I'm kind of a minis guy.
Yeah, right.
Shocker. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle. I have been keeping up so far with my first New Year's resolution, which is to play at least 2 games a week. I actually rocked it out this week. I played Age of Sigmar, which is right now my favorite thing to play in the world. I played a couple games of that this week, which was awesome. I played a bunch of Kill Team on Saturday at our Kill Team event.
Mhm.
And then earlier in this week, Danny and I hung out. We actually got to play a full game of X-Wing on, I want to say it was on, I don't know, Wednesday maybe?
Sweet.
And I had a blast. If you haven't
Okay.
played X-Wing 2.0, you should definitely go out and play it because ships. I think the coolest thing, I guess, for me with X-Wing 2.0 is ships that in the first edition I would never have chose to fly purposefully feel either great or at least playable.
Yeah.
Like, I love the U-Wing. It's kind of one of the ships that I just was flying in 1.0 just to fly because I liked it. And in 1.0, it was the spaceship equivalent of a bag of turds, but a really big bag of turds,
Yeah.
right? Not like a regular bag. And now it's actually really kick-ass. Like, it has some cool abilities. Like,
That's the one from Rogue One, right?
yeah, it's one from Rogue One. With
Yeah.
the cool swept wing thing.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Danny ended up beating me, but it was like super close. It came down to just my U-Wing and trying to kill Luke Skywalker, which, as I found out, in X-Wing 2.0 is basically fucking impossible.
Yeah.
That guy's a son of a bitch.
Sweet.
But
Yes.
it was a lot of fun. Short part there is go play X-Wing 2.0 if you haven't played it. It's super good.
Right
So
on.
we also
How
had a championship for that this weekend.
We did.
Yeah.
How
How
about
about
you,
you?
Drew? You played RPGs, I bet.
RPGs, yes. Terra Haven. We had Zero Session for that on Wednesday. I had a few players show up and we made some characters. Right after that, I did a East Texas University Savage Worlds character generation session. That slot's already
Will you
filled up.
Explain the ETU really quick, just in case people don't know what it is. 'Cause
Absolutely.
it's a cool concept. But it's not necessarily.
Did you make it up yourself, or is
No.
it actually?
No,
made
it's
up?
I
that's
wish.
the cool thing. There's like a million settings for Savage Worlds
Right.
that are actually already pre-done. Like, you just have
So-
to go.
East Texas University is a four-year school in the fictional town of Pine Box, Texas.
Okay.
And all kinds of crazy things happen in Pine Box, Texas. So
Okay.
But not just because it's Texas.
So kind of like Sunnydale, California.
more like Castle Rock, Maine,
Okay.
right?
Or
Things just
Arkham,
happen.
Massachusetts.
Yes.
Okay.
The ley lines just happen across there and crazy shit
Okay.
happens, right?
Or like regular Scottsdale.
So you as characters are freshmen,
Okay.
typically. You start out as freshmen of the college. And
What if I want to be the dean?
the dean is the GM.
Oh,
That's what they call the GM in that one.
You could be an upperclassman eventually and paddle kids.
that would be more
You get
fun.
really abusive and
Yeah.
raise all of the underclassmen.
So all kinds of things happen. It's kind of I kind of think of it as like
I want to do the Rush Week
Buffy
session.
Yeah.
the Vampire
The
Slayer
Rush
Week. Yeah.
or Scooby Doo kind of thing.
You can do really weird shit to the other underclassmen. Like one of your trials to get into the fraternity is you have to actually put a toy car in a condom and shove it up your butt.
Whoa,
There's no real reason. But
whoa.
There's no real
Ow.
reason.
Yeah.
I mean, these things happen. I won't even tell you some of my brothers. My brother was in Alpha Tau Omega, and I won't even tell you some things they did in ATO because they're like NC-17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
It's
So they do have fraternities. In
I'll
this
tell you.
world.
Yeah, that was like when the camera's off. Now
when the camera's off, I'll have to tell you because it's
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
grotesque.
pretty excited now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got a one guy's playing a football player, girl's playing the cheerleader. We've got
That's phenomenal.
the book nerd.
Oh, you've got like a regular guy, a Chad and a Stacy?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have
Chaz fuck Stacy's.
we have the computer kid, and I've said it in the '80s. You don't have to,
Oh.
but I kind of want to get.
So
away
there's a
from
lot of
using-
journey going on.
using internet.
Does
for
the book
everything.
nerd have a keytar at all?
She's like a literature major.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's definitely going to be an employee.
That's like
What are your other majors?
folklore major, too.
Literature.
Love you, Lucy. Thanks for playing.
Sorry, Lucy.
So, yeah.
What are the other majors? I want to know now.
Criminal justice was one of
Is that
them.
the
Okay.
football player? 'Cause
No,
That would make
that
sense
would
to
have
be a
that would have
football
fit really
player.
well.
right, right. So yeah, we're
I mean, the only one that's
Super
basically
excited.
going to have a job is if there's an engineer in nursing.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Everyone else is going to be a Starbucks shift manager.
So I'm going to
They're working at
start.
the local food collective. Like,
I'm going to start with
They
the,
stayed in the college town.
what Savage Worlds calls as a plot point campaign.
what's plot point? Is that like milestone leveling?
Exactly. So plot point is you're telling a story. Here's the major points to hit along the story. Fill in the gaps with whatever you want.
Ah, okay.
So it's kind of like a hybrid of homebrew and
yeah, so it's almost like a looser kind of run campaign,
Right.
basically.
Down the road, you could always make one up for Fort Collins because you could definitely get
Oh
really
my
fucking
God.
fruity there.
right.
Can you adapt
Super
this game to
fruity.
be in Fort Collins? Because that would be fucking phenomenal. It's like instead
Everyone
of East
eats
Texas
at the
University, it's
fat
called,
burrito.
right?
Yeah.
It's Cafe Mexicali. But,
Yeah.
No, Big City Burrito. Remember?
as someone who lived in Fort Collins, you're definitely eating at Cafe Mexicali. Don't worry, Fort Collins viewers. I fucking got your back. Yeah, that's where it's at.
I just
so there
remember
were-
Big City Burrito used to have a line outside of it all the time. Every
It
time
did,
I
it
drove
did,
by.
yeah.
And so I stopped and I was like, all right, I got to see what the
Uh-huh.
hubbub.
I was okay. I mean,
It wasn't terrible.
I spoken like two guys that never went to Cafe Mex.
I recently found 2 job titles when I was down in FOCO that I absolutely love. One of them was an organic tea DJ.
Organic tea DJ.
Yes, for
God damn.
Happy Lucky Tea Company.
This is fucking Neverland in Fort Collins, dude.
And-
you don't have to grow up there. It's just
The other one
random job
was
titles.
a music barista.
Music barista.
Yes.
Is that like you're like a strolling guitar player serving coffee?
Like, where else do you have job titles like that?
And here's your lattes. Like, what the fuck is that?
Like when I was in Fort Collins recently, the downtown now in the old town, it's just like fairyland. It's
Dude,
like
all of Fort Collins has got like this kind of Neverland feel to it. Like, it's just like
I don't have to grow up.
Yeah, no one's angry. Everything's happy. It's because of weed.
the
Like,
the epitome of it was I walked by a guy he was in a like old fashioned suit from like the 1890s,
Sure.
a vintage
Yep.
suit. He had a little desk with a tiny
I was
old
about to
fashioned
say
typewriter.
that.
Did you see him? And he was doing poems for tips.
I don't understand this generation. I really don't.
I'm like, boy, go get a job. Poems for tips,
homes
Maya.
for tips.
Yeah.
That's
He
what
had a
you're.
bowler hat.
To kind of round it all out, guys, that's what your literature major is going to do when they graduate.
Poems for tips.
for tips.
I hope you're good at rhyming, Lucy.
All right,
Get your iambic pentameter on,
let's,
buddy.
let's get to
Things and stuff.
new announcements.
Fuck.
GW had a big thing.
They
New Year open
basically
day.
bukkakied us with announcements on
They did.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, so let's.
You don't know what that
dive
is,
into
kids. Google it.
Ask your mom to Google it for you, actually.
Well, I'll bring us back on the track.
You want to
Okay.
take us back?
So, Gene Stealer Colts, do you like evil Halliburton that are mutating?
Evil
Then
Halliburton's
you're gonna
good.
like this
Yeah.
army.
Do you ever wake up in the morning and say, you know what my life needs is more 3-armed gunslingers
Uh-huh.
with sweet pistols?
Do you ever want to ride a 4-wheeler and throw dynamite at people?
I
This is
think
your army.
I think if you're sitting at home or wherever in your car right now and you ask yourself, do I want to ride a 4-wheeler and throw dynamite?
All our country
If
Wyoming
the-
fans know what we're talking
If
about.
the answer is no, I think you need to have a serious conversation with yourself and find out why you're lying to yourself, because you fucking definitely want to do that. That sounds
Or like
phenomenal.
snipe people off the sitting on a
on
dirt
a
bike.
dirt bike? Yeah, I already want to do that right now.
Mhm.
Like, if I could be doing anything else right now, it would be riding around on a dirt bike or a 4-wheeler with a flamethrower chainsaw and dynamite. That's the Kyle starter kit right there. Like, that's my apocalypse go-to kit.
So They unveiled all the new stuff for the Army. I think we're going to probably have it I'd say the next month or so.
They say
4 to 6 weeks.
early 2019. I bet February.
You think February? Okay.
Yeah, February seems pretty likely to me. But yeah, they unveiled this like 2.5 minute long video. They unveiled
six characters.
6 new characters. They
got,
showed us the bikes we've already seen, the ATV we've already seen.
Yes.
But they showed us the cool new characters.
Looks like a variation on the vehicle, kind of, maybe?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell if it was the original one or a new one.
There is a brand new like giant ferrocrete drill, which is super badass looking. I'm really excited to see what that does. I don't.
You want
care
to Dr.
really
Evil destroy the universe? This is your king.
Yeah, what I really like instantly appreciated how Imperial it was because that's a bunch of like shitty redundant parts that you know are going to break right away. And I was like, that's the most grimdark and Imperial thing I can think of. It's like terrible, useless things that they've done for no reason. It looks great. We're going to have one for the shop for sure.
Gorgeous.
It's a cool piece of terrain.
The Geosealer Cults. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on just them because they look so cool.
Yeah, like there's so much.
Maybe when the book comes out, we can do a little special, like 20 minutes.
Yeah, a little 20-minute special.
We're probably going to need to do one on the Moongrots too, because holy crap, is there some good stuff there.
So yeah, the other stuff they announced,
the goblins,
they spoiled more of the Gloomspite Gits, which are the new goblin or grot faction with the Trogs or trolls. They look phenomenal. Like just over the past week, they've been spoiling more of the rules, more of the models, more of the items and stuff like that, and spells. And I have to say that I think
there's nothing I don't like.
Yeah, they're literally just a faction full of really interesting stuff. I think that they're going to be a really solid faction. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of like limp choices in the codex. Like, it's going to be really solid options all the way around. Like, I think the army will play really nicely no matter what you put on the table. I think if you build a little more thematically, you're going to get rewarded for that, which would be nice. So if you kind of stick to like, I'm going to play all squig units. I think there'll be some extra built-in bonuses, but there's no reason to also not be able to mix in squigs, spiders, trolls, grots, like everything. You just mix it all together. I think it'll work really well, which is interesting because I don't think you can say that of every one of the other books out there.
No,
like they kind of settle into these, this is the build or that's the build. And the Gloomspites, just from what I'm seeing right now, it looks like there's a lot of different builds that are going to work really well in this book, and you can kind of just do whatever you want to do and get all the cool zany units.
You can. The Loon King, everybody wants a Loon King.
I read his War Scroll, and I was already like, I have to have this model because it's a cool model. And I read his War Scroll, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is phenomenal. Like, he's crazy good.
Great wizard, combat, leader.
Yeah, solid shooting, solid magic, solid combat, solid command character. Like, I was like, there's no downside to this guy.
Squig Knights.
Squig Knights,
they look amazing. I mean, they're literally little goblins with medieval like knight helmets and lances.
Yeah, they're like
are like a cool little like 2 feet long that are riding squigs that are bouncing.
Like the Boeing bouncers or something like that. It's pretty phenomenal. The squig units all also, I think, have the fly keyword, so they literally can just move over bounce over stuff. It's so cool.
The Mangler squig looks so good.
And you can mount characters on it now. I was like, oh man, because I have the original Mangler squig model, and it looks like 2 meatballs tied together. Like it's not a bad model.
Yeah,
it's definitely it was decent for its time. But, like, it's definitely been put to shame. Like, utter shame by the new models. They're so gorgeous.
And the moon, the new effect of the moon on the battlefield. So
they
have this ability where, like, you start the game and the moon is going to start in one corner and move to the other corner throughout the game. And
it actually moves around the table, all the corners.
Does it? Okay. Yeah. So whatever quarter it's in gives the goblins all kinds of bonuses and negatives to their opponent. It's a list of things.
Yeah. In particular, it messes up the enemy's mages really hard because it drives them crazy.
We got new Kill Team stuff.
Yeah, so Kill Team Arena is a new expansion coming out for Kill Team. Probably
I think it's a terrible name.
Yeah, okay.
It's misleading.
The
because
name,
it's really like close confines quarter.
Yeah, like when I saw the name, I immediately pictured an arena. What they mean by arena is they mean it's going to be the competitive Kill Team expansion. Yeah. So how to actually play Kill Team in competitive tournament settings, like tighter. I don't know,
confines
or something like that.
Boards.
So yeah, the board is like it looks like ship corridors or something. Yeah, it's really tight, close confines. But they said there's stuff in there for one-on-one and multiplayer games. So here we come, Kill Team team tournaments.
Yeah,
like that'll be kind of interesting. I'm curious to see. The cooler news, in my opinion, for Kill Team was the new Killzone.
Yes.
There's the Killzone Frontieris coming out, which is literally like
the Old West.
Yeah, it's like an Old West kind of. It's a space frontier. It's more Firefly. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's a frontier setting, and they literally like reference having gunfights in this like frontier setting. And that's where you get
the Cult Kill Team has a 3-armed gunslinger.
That's where you get him. Yeah. And there's which is very close to my heart. There's a new Adeptus Mechanicus Tech Priest, who I have affectionately named named the Tummy Priest.
Because he has a
He has a
massive stomach
huge tummy. I love it.
with lots of belly armor.
Oh God, yeah. So
Blood
good.
Bowl got some new stuff.
Yeah, Buffalo's got there's new Goblin stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Another troll. There's
Titanic
like a
has
weird
got some
werewolf thing.
stuff. A new book that's coming.
The other cool stuff is
Called
Necromunda is finally
Titan
getting the Ambots.
Yes.
The Ambots are kind of a big mechanical construct that's made to look like an Am Bull, which is cool because
alien,
Blackstone Fortress is getting an Am Bull. But I'm really excited that the Ambots are coming out in plastic.
Yes.
Because none of the other special stuff or mercenaries
They've
have
all
come out
been
in plastic. They've all been forged.
resin. Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but I also don't want to have to wait the extra time and pay the extra forge roll price. I like to just get the regular GW stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Lord of the Rings, we're getting the 3 Hunters, which is if you don't know, it's Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. Specifically, this set of them is where they are charging off the docks, coming into Minas Tirith with the Army of the Dead. They get their own set of dice, which really kick ass. The 6 has a sword, bow, and axe on it. They have a new campaign expansion coming out called Gondor at War, which would be pretty cool, I think. I'm definitely curious to see what's going on there. We know that there is also some stuff coming for Shadespire. We have the Dark Oath Warband coming. Gosh, I feel like are we missing anything else?
Much.
Oh, we're missing the coolest announcement from the whole thing. Carrion Empire.
Yes.
Carrion Empire is a new box set coming out for Age of Sigmar.
Skaven and Flesh Eater Courts, so kind of very Strigoi-like vampires.
Good. Like the
Great
video is
video,
phenomenal.
funny.
If you haven't seen the Carrion Empire video, go watch that on Warhammer TV.
Rats in the pantry.
Oh, rats in the pantry.
It's pretty good.
Like I love how crazy the Flesh Eater Courts are. They're like one of my favorite things in the Age of Sigmar fluff because they're just a bunch of vampires who are literally and utterly nanners. Like they're just completely loony.
They think they're vampires, but they're crazy. They think they're these
like
noble knights,
armor,
and they see themselves as these heroes of the realm.
Yeah.
And really, they're like, in their mind, it's a beautiful sword, and they're just beating it up with like a bone club.
Yeah, right. Like they're complete monsters, but they don't view themselves that way. It's really cool. I am a former Skaven player, recovering Skaven player, and this is
basically just Skaven monsters and War Machines.
Yeah, right. It's definitely a Clan Skyer set because you've got Storm Fiends, you've got a Warp Lightning Cannon, you've got a Doom Wheel, and you've got a Warlock with the Doom Rocket. I saw the Doom Rocket and I was like, well, fuck, guess I'm getting off that. I'm like, I'm getting back on the Skaven bandwagon. I'm gonna give me some Skaven for this thing. I'm really, really pumped to get into that. There's so much they dropped on us.
Too much to build, not enough time.
Yeah, right. Like I
start.
think I should start doing meth so that I have enough time to build models.
Right.
Because there's so much out there. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I know I'm getting the new Kill Team stuff.
Yep.
Definitely I'm gonna get a Carrion Empire. Probably gonna end up getting Gloomspite Gits if we're being completely honest. Gene Stealer Cults might be the one that I skip out on because I'm still working on some Chaos stuff and some Mad Max stuff at the same time. So, but I've been playing a lot of AOS lately and I'm really digging it. So
yeah,
I'm definitely
That's
super pumped to play
of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's so much.
So there was some D&D news this week.
Oh,
too.
what is it? Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. They said the next book might be ships.
Really?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because I don't know if you remember, but back in it was in Gen Con, WizKids previewed their new D&D ship model, which weirdly enough releases in the next month.
Right.
Huh. It's a really I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really epic ship. It's like $250 to buy, but it is massive with multiple decks that you can remove and like you can play on the different decks.
It's pre-painted too?
It's pre-painted, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's I would say it's worth the $250.
So you're gonna get a ship
because you're getting a big ship.
Oh yeah. I'm getting a boat.
I was gonna say you have to.
It's a ship, not a boat.
Yeah, you're GM Drew.
Yeah, I gotta have one of those.
Yeah, right. It's by all accounts, it's pretty kick-ass, and I would say the vast majority of WizKids models, pre-painted or not, are really solid models.
Yeah.
Like they do good jobs.
Yeah. Just like we got that new Guilds of Ravnica dragon.
Yeah, we have
it's a giant dragon.
Niv Mizzix in the shop right now, which is essentially just an alternate red dragon model from WizKids. If you're playing Guilds of Ravnica, it's Niv Mizzix. If you're not, it's just a red dragon. But it's pre-painted and it's badass. It's huge.
Sweet.
So really cool looking model.
Yeah, they haven't given any details. Not even they showed a couple of the phony covers that they'd made. Go check those out. It's pretty funny.
I mean, what could it be, right? Like, there's a fairly, in my mind, there's a fairly short list of options if it's going to be a boats-centered thing.
Right.
It could tie into Waterdeep or Spellport, right?
They said they're absolutely not doing Spelljammer in 2019. So it's not that.
That makes me happy and sad.
Right.
I like Spelljammers, but I also realize that I'm in a very small group of people that like Spelljammers. So
I don't know. I'm sure it's still going to be in Forgotten Realms. Could be in the Pirate Isles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of my thought. Or we could. I mean, maybe we're seeing something dealing with Chult again. Who knows?
Right. Right.
That's-
They've
there's
also
lots around there.
alluded to the books that they'll announce in May. There'll be like I think they're going the way of like Black Panther. They want to try some African
Team
type.
stuff, yeah.
So do you think we're
stuff.
going like maybe Dark Suns almost?
I wouldn't say Dark Sun as much as like Mastika,
Okay.
stuff like Carter.
I mean, I know Dark Sun is
maybe
is
Asian
maybe
influenced.
more Conan than African, but
Yeah.
it's always to me it always I think desert when I think Africa, and so I think Dark
Oh,
Sun.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I always think jungles and stuff like that.
See, I always think of North Africa, I guess. Something.
Right.
I always think of the desert areas.
See, I always think of jungle too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Hmm.
I literally like you tell
I
me
think
Africa, I
I
immediately
think-
picture like Egypt and like sand.
Do
and,
you?
Like, yeah,
See,
like
for
Libya.
me, I think about Middle East. I think of sand.
Yeah, me too.
Africa,
Yeah,
I think of
Persia,
jungle.
right?
Yeah.
And like Aladdin and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's like Middle East. So,
Sure.
But a random fact that I learned, I don't know if you guys heard, they're making another Pirates movie, Disney.
They're rebooting it. It's
They're
not even
rebooting
like
it. It's
making
not
another
going to
one,
have Johnny Depp.
which is good.
It is good.
I think it's
it's
way
time
better.
to move
you know why
on.
it's good?
Why?
Because
Because no Johnny
that
Depp.
makes their budget $90
Million-
million
I read that.
cheaper.
90 million is
Yeah.
what he's getting
So
paid
the
per
last
movie?
last movie,
Where did I go wrong? Other than
So-
being fat, I could have been Johnny Depp.
the last movie, the
Right?
the budget was 220 million and 90 million was
Oh
for
my
Johnny
God.
Depp.
Yeah.
He took a third of the budget of the whole movie.
He's just not that interesting, and that character's not that interesting.
It was
It
great for the
was.
first few.
It
Yeah,
was.
Then it
His character, okay, it
It
was
ran
great for
its
the
course,
first
though.
two, and
Yeah.
then in the third one, it started sliding.
it did.
The first two, I totally tell.
But
I
Disney's
was
like,
totally a fan. Captain
Here's
Jack
a
was
way to
awesome.
make money. Let's immediately knock 90 million off our budget.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, they're not wrong
Yeah,
because it's an interesting franchise. I love Pirates.
I do too. I love Pirates of the
I-
Caribbean
who doesn't?
franchise. Yeah.
I like the franchise, but
Terrorist.
for me, I can't watch past the third movie because I just stopped caring about
Yeah.
it. Like it get harder and harder to watch.
I liked the most recent one. I really liked
With the
that one.
Spanish, that was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched most of it at the gym.
Yeah.
But I just like that was like the right time for me to watch it because I only had to watch it in 30-minute chunks, so I didn't have to have like that much random Johnny Deppness.
Sure.
Like because anymore, like he just kind of annoys me.
Mhm.
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Events happening at Olympus,
We have so many events coming up.
right?
This month is
February,
honestly
we have
awesome.
a
Well,
new kill team.
We got some stuff in
started.
January 1st too.
Oh,
Let's do
Because we
January.
just today
but I like
started.
going in reverse order
Well, that's
because I'm
weird.
German.
Today we started our Uprising on Ord Mantell
Okay,
campaign
we
for
did.
Star Wars Legion. I think there's right now there's somewhere between
4 games played, I think, or
Yeah, we have
5.
4 games played today. We
Rebels
have,
have won
I think
every
we have
one of them.
around 10 or 12 players
Yeah.
that are jumping into it over the next
It's not
couple
too late
days.
to jump in.
Yeah, you can jump in at any point during the campaign. You
Yeah.
can add in, no problem.
You get some sweet promo cards just by signing
You
up.
do, yeah. And you get a chance to play Legion.
Yeah.
Now that Legion has had a little more time to percolate, it's got some more
Mhm.
units. I think this is kind of the dead time Legion had was kind of what it needed to get more units out, and,
Yes.
and it's starting to get more interesting.
It is.
So we're starting
lot
to see a little
interesting.
more variation in the game. It's not just the same stormtroopers versus the same rebel troopers. Like there's a little more variation of what
Yeah.
you can take, which is good. I think it's what the game really needs. So I'm very excited to see where the campaign goes.
Mhm.
We also this past weekend we just had a Star Wars X-wing Championship, and we also had a Kill Team narrative for Battle for Vigilus. Both of those were pretty fun. So we have coming up this month a few more things. We have
Yes.
actually not much going on this weekend.
No.
This weekend's actually kind of open. More or
The
less.
basement will actually be closed on
The
Saturday.
basement, yeah. Well, by the
Aside
time
from the
you,
bathroom.
hopefully you guys see this in time. I don't know. Saturday, our basement will be closed because
Yeah.
we're doing a little remodeling down there. But the following weekend is January 19th, and that is a huge fucking weekend for us. We
Yep.
have Magic the Gathering Ravnica Allegiance pre-release that weekend.
Yep.
So we'll have
And
5
if-
pre-release events, which is kind of our standard array of pre-release events. I gotta get custom made for that, just remind myself.
And a 40k GT.
We do also have 40k. It's
Well,
not
it's
really,
not a
technically
GT,
it's an RTT.
RTT. Yeah.
It's a 3-rounder. We were trying to beat the Brits on that one. That is our Beat the Brits tournament. So I'm hoping we'll have a lot of folks. I know we have folks coming from as far afield as Montana.
That's great.
So yeah, we've got folks
Surely
coming
they're
from
going to spend the
Montana.
night.
I imagine if you're coming from
Yeah.
Montana, you're gonna have to spend the night because that's a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
We have folks coming out of Warhammer retirement to play in this tournament. We have shaken some trees, gentlemen.
Neat.
Good.
Love it.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. The following weekend, we kind of round out our month with a narrative event, which is called Controlling the Eye. It is a Chaos Space Marine only narrative event for the day, which is I'm really looking forward to. It's something I'm working on right now, trying to get all my stuff done for. And it's part of my new plan for event planning for miniatures, at least for GW miniatures for the year. Is every month I'd like to host not only a tournament every month,
Some type of
but
narrative
and
event.
also a narrative event, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have a tournament for your guys who like tournaments. You'll have a casual event for your guys who just want to be a little more casual. That way, your warlords are still getting good value for their warlord membership, but we also have stuff that is outside of that. So in the following month in February, we were starting a few things like you were saying, but we have an Age of Sigmar doubles.
We do. What,
And
February 9th, I believe.
February 9th, yep.
Yep.
And then February 16th, the week after, we're going to have a Vigilus 40k Apocalypse battle, which should be pretty badass. I'm actually changing up the way we do Apocalypse battles. It's going to be something very different than this one. Generally speaking, when we do Apocalypse battles, we have two teams, and they're more or less pre-designed teams with, like, this team is going to be all this codex, this team will be all this codex. It'll still be, like, all orcs versus all, like, Space Marines kind of thing. Now we're going to do just Imperium versus everybody else, but each faction will have multiple different objectives. So in this particular type of Apocalypse game, it won't be necessarily one team or the other team winning. It'll be factions winning. So, like, you'll run into a scenario where it'd be like, you'll have Dark Eldar, Orcs, and Necrons on one side, but they all have their own smaller goals that'll be achievable as an individual faction. Like, one of the ones for Dark Eldar would be actually kidnapping other characters on the board. So if they can achieve a certain number of kidnappings to experiment on people, they'll actually achieve victory for the day. That way, it's less about, like, who brought the most shit-kicking units and, who planned the best, and more about, can you manage to do several different things on the field of battle?
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm working on the different objectives as we speak. So, and you want to talk about the...
Oh, wow. We have a Kill Team campaign starting. We'll start the first week of February. It's going to be 4 weeks. You'll play one game a week.
Similar to our Star Wars campaign.
Similar to our Star Wars campaign. And you'll have a chance to win different support and cool little promos and things like that for games. At the end, on the last week, we're going to do a paint night and a Kill Teams on Parade.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, everyone can come in that night, display your painted Kill Team, make a display board, and we'll have multiple awards for painting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Actually, playing Kill Team this Saturday got me really pumped.
It was fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I want to go in and do some more conversions and things like that now.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really pumped to get my Kill Team done. And that reminded me, we also, on the 17th of January, we have a hobby night for the club. That'll be literally a couple days before that 19th tournament. So if you want to come in and finish up some work on models just before the tournament, we've got that night set aside for hobbying. There will still be tables open to play games if you want to play games too. You don't have to hobby, but it will be a night focused on painting and assembling and helping people who are new learn how to hobby and kind of sharing our tips and tricks with each other.
Cool. So a lot of stuff happened in the RPG world for us this week as well. As I said before, Terra Haven, we officially kicked it off this last week. We'll start our first adventure on Wednesday. That is our own in-store campaign setting.
Which we're pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Right. We have one table of that. We most likely have a second table coming on board as well. So
I'm really
cool
excited
stuff.
about this because it's the thing I've wanted to
We
see
only have
happen
one
for a
table
while.
going with Terra Haven right now?
that is correct.
Yeah. But we're gonna try and add more as we kind of progress further. That, and you talking about RPGs reminded me too. Another thing I wanted to mention while we're here on the podcast right now is coming up in the end of February is Genghis Khan. That's in Denver. If you haven't been and you are a miniatures gamer or a board gamer or an RPG gamer, it's a phenomenal con to go to. It's relatively easy to get into because it's just down in Denver, so you can drive down for a single day or you can stay the whole weekend. There's a billion freaking games down there.
Yep.
There's tons of stuff. So,
I think currently there's 300 events
yeah,
to sign up for.
There's a lot. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend going to check it out. The three of us, we're all going. CJ and I will be going down to play some 40K. Drew, you're going down for the whole weekend, right?
I'm going down on Thursday and playing in Savage Worlds the whole weekend.
Yeah, and if you're a Savage Worlds player, it is a phenomenal con, more so than any other RPG, because there's a ton of Savage Worlds in Denver specifically.
A ton of the makers of the game come to that. And
actual people who literally make Savage Worlds will be there, which is pretty sweet. So you can schmooze with famous people.
Yeah, right. Speaking of Savage Worlds, we're getting better at this.
Let's go.
So I started my second game on Wednesday. So something we've also done is we've decided to, because our RPG night on Wednesdays is overflowing, we are rolling over into Tuesday nights as well. The idea for that is not only to spread out the RPG level a little more, but also to give more attention to RPGs that aren't necessarily D&D. So that doesn't mean you can't come and play D&D.
Yeah, not to say that D&D isn't phenomenal, because it is, but there are also
A lot
like,
of other great RPGs.
Yeah, there's a lot of phenomenal RPGs out there that don't necessarily get the love that they deserve. So
Right.
we're trying to kind of help promote those
Yep.
other ones.
So I'll probably be running a Savage Worlds game on Tuesdays. I haven't decided what setting yet. I'm leaning towards Deadlands because we are in the West.
I think if you're gonna play Savage Worlds, Deadlands is one of the best ones to play because it is the classic Savage Worlds.
Yep.
Like that's where Savage Worlds comes from is Deadlands.
Yep.
And then they just
Is
kind of
TCU Savage?
ECU?
ECU?
Or
Is that
ETU?
also Savage Worlds?
It is.
Also?
Letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a
Letters.
lot of places to play in Savage Worlds.
There's like hundreds of settings. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you get the core book for Savage Worlds, so there's not really classes per se in Savage
Mhm.
Worlds. It's just like you just have essentially abilities and you're either good at them or not. And you have different edges, which are like feats.
Mhm.
But like if you just look at like the tech in the core rulebook, they have everything from like a stone, to beat people's head in with in a club for like cavemen to like sweet lasers and ray guns. Like
So
Yeah.
is
it
this kind of like
literally
what
bridges
Rifts once
everything.
was, where there's
More like what GURPS was.
GURPS was. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably closer to curves. Yeah.
So,
Do those even exist anymore? GURPS and Rifts?
so they
GURPS is still kind of around.
last year they just ported Rifts over into Savage
Oh,
Worlds.
did they? Okay.
So you can play Savage Rifts now.
Yeah.
Which is a great name for a band.
That's
That's phenomenal.
But it'd be Riffs, not
Right.
Riffs,
Well, yeah.
right?
I'm thinking about running a Tuesday game as well, and
Okay.
I'm personally right now I'm torn between a few different things. I'm really strongly considering Wrath and Glory, which is the 40k RPG because
Mhm.
I'm a GW whore. I know it.
Sorry.
I'm also considering the Warhammer Fantasy RPG because it's one of my favorite older RPGs that I've ever played,
Yeah.
and it just got a new edition. And I'm also considering waiting a little while longer for Crucible 7 to drop the new Age of Sigmar RPG because basically what I need in my life is more Warhammer.
Sure.
Yeah.
I found an awesome setup a GM for Savage Worlds did, and it's the Goonies meets the Ghostbusters.
Okay.
So from the characters, you get to pick from the Goonies kids, or you can pick a Ghostbuster, and chaos ensues.
Oh.
So
Basically,
I'll
it's
probably
the
be
Goonies
running
kids fucking things up for the Ghostbusters, and the Ghostbusters trying to loosely adult with their train wreck lives.
that. So not really,
Okay.
but
that's how it goes in my
But
head.
it's really neat. So I've ordered some Goonies playing cards to use for Savage Worlds.
That's funny.
And I'll be running that shortly.
I think that's like one of my other little like small like my low key favorite things about Savage Worlds because I'm definitely a guy who likes tchotchkes like and cool things. Savage Worlds use a card deck like a regular playing card deck for initiative, which I've always loved. And I always like having like themed decks for the game because it just feels right.
Yeah.
Like it's just that little extra
I heard
bit
the
of
term-
table glitter you can use.
Yeah, I heard that term, table glitter.
Yeah. I always like that kind of
So anyway, that's starting this week. I'll be there on Tuesdays to talk to people that want to start a game or play in a game and all that kind of stuff. So come on down for that.
All right. Well, we're probably about to the last word, are we? Or do we have anything else?
This week the Gloomspite comes out, correct?
Gloomspite Gets
coming
is
weekend.
this Saturday, so the first half of them, I should say.
Okay.
The first half of the Gloomspite Gets is out this Saturday, which is basically the goblin side of it. The rest of it is the Trogs or Trolls. They will be out the following Saturday.
Okay.
If you haven't already, by the time you're seeing this, orders are probably already locked in for us. Please, if you need some Gloomspite Kits, come down and let me know because I genuinely think this is an army that is going to sell out. Like it's going to be hugely popular.
Oh, we forgot
So-
to mention we do have a Keyforge thing going on.
We have a Keyforge tournament. It's not constructed. I can't think of the name for it.
Is it a draft?
No, it's not
Or
a
you
draft.
bring your
It's
own
one where
deck.
you bring your own deck. That's coming
Cool.
up this Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday, I want to say at noon. So we'll have some Keyforge going on. We actually have some Keyforge on the way to the shop as we speak. It should be here. It's probably already in the shop by the time you're seeing this.
Sweet.
Put it that way. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we are to the last word.
Okay.
good deal.
Do you want me to go first? I always choose you guys, but I already
You
have
go.
one.
You
Go.
go first.
All right.
I don't
So,
have one yet. So.
a few months ago, you guys introduced me to Letters from Whitechapel.
Yes.
Which is
Great
a
game.
Jack the Ripper board game. Last night, I started watching Ripper Street.
Okay.
Which
Is it
takes
on like
place.
Netflix or something?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a BBC show.
Oh, so a lot of bad teeth.
Yeah, but it's really good acting.
Do you
Really
like
good.
it?
I do, and it got me into that feel.
That feel, yeah.
Right? Like, so
I'm always.
if you're looking for something, that's pretty cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
And if you haven't played Letters from Whitechapel, I highly recommend it because it's a
It's a great
phenomenal
board
board
game.
game.
It
That's
is.
one of my
It's really
favorites.
fun.
It's honestly probably my favorite board game of 2018.
Yes.
And I would liken it to Fury of Dracula and
It's very similar.
old school, if you're old grog nerd like me, Scotland Yard.
Let's see. Yeah, I've got kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
Mine's one. It's both TV related, but Netflix. I finished watching a series called Diablero, which is a new one on Netflix, and you can tell they definitely made it for. It's all in Spanish, so it's been dubbed over.
Okay.
But it is a Netflix original, so
Because
shocking. They have,
Netflix
like,
will
25
fucking
originals.
greenlight anything you give them.
And this is one of those ones where you're like, how did this make it to production? I'm not saying it's bad, but it's so strange.
just kind of.
It's just kind of out there. It's only 8 episodes. It takes place in Mexico City, and basically what it is there. I mean, I don't even fucking know where to go. Like, there's like these. There's witches that are the diableras. There are the diableros, are the guys, and they hunt demons. And then like the Catholic Church is like this weird. Like, they call themselves the conclave behind the scenes, but their Catholic Church is the front, and they've got all these conspiracies, but they're never explained what they are. And meanwhile, they're trying to stop Quetzalcoatl from rising up, the Aztec god, who's actually like an insane demon. And there's like a crazy person kidnapping children to sacrifice them to Quetzalcoatl.
What the fuck is this show about?
It's about demons and,
Okay.
raising Quetzalcoatl. If you want a wild ride and some kind of just crazy stuff, it's a good show for that.
All right.
My second one is I went and saw Mary Queen of Scots last night in
That
theater.
got like trashed reviews.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Well, part of it I think is because the movie focused a lot on fashion.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
turns out not everyone wants a story that's cool dresses. I don't know.
I didn't see. If by fashion you mean they wore a lot of different clothing in scenes, yeah, but I didn't
Yes.
think that
That's what I mean.
that's not a detriment to me at
Somebody
all.
going for the whole wardrobe award.
That was so I read a review about it on
Mm-hmm.
BBC, and that's what they were like. Oh, they're just trying to get the
Costume
best
award.
costume award for like they're shooting for what they can get. Like,
Yeah.
The only thing the Phantom.
I thought it was really good. I mean, if you want a movie that actually delves into some of the historic events around Mary Queen of Scots and the relationship she had with Queen Elizabeth, I think historically the movie is fairly accurate. I think it's a pretty good film. There's certainly some moments of dialogue that can kind of drag a little bit, but overall it basically covers her whole life up to her execution from the time she arrives in Scotland. So it's a pretty lengthy movie. There is some battle scenes in it. There's some intrigue. There's some definite brutal assassinations. Probably one of the craziest moments, which is historic. The Scottish nobles didn't like this bard that Queen Mary had. And so, essentially, one day they just showed up to her room where he was and fucking stabbed him to death in front of her. And she was freaking out, and they're like, "No, we're going to kill this guy." So, it's interesting. A lot of times, history is stranger than fiction.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's what I got. So, if you're a history buff or an English literature major, definitely check out Mary, Queen of Scots.
Or need a nap. Go ahead, Kyle.
Or you like pretty dresses in hair.
Sorry.
Good one, Drew. She was like, "Ha,
Guys.
gotcha."
Guys.
So my last word is also like TV movie related because we're original and shit.
Yeah.
But I've said it a couple times before. I really, 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 really love The Last Kingdom, which is on Netflix.
No,
I
you
know,
never
shocking.
said that.
So I
I was like, it's gonna be Last Kingdom.
right. It's really fucking good. So it's by the original story is by a guy named Bernard Cromwell. I
Bernard
think.
Cromwell.
Yeah. Bernard Cromwell. So he did this series of books. So I was like, I'm gonna read the books,
Mhm.
and I am like 2 or 3 chapters away from finishing book 1 right now, and they're really good. They're a little different,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, like the books are going to be a little bit different. Like or book 1 rather is basically like episode 1 and a little bit of 2. So it's kind of interesting because it dives a lot more into Uhtred's like early life, but really good. So if you're looking for a really cool, I guess historical fiction is probably the best title for that.
Mhm.
If you're looking for a really cool historical fiction read, I highly recommend The Last Kingdom. It's a super solid book so far. I think there's 10 of them, so I'm going to tear through that series. I'm really pumped about it. Also, it's a phenomenal show on Netflix.
One final thing, if you all are wondering through the camera, Kyle's fingers are as short as they look.
They are, yeah.
I've been sitting here the entire time distracted. I'm like, your thumbs, like there were a couple things. It had to be an optical illusion because I'm like, it's only an inch long.
That's it.
I've been super distracted. Like, when you hold it like that, to me, it looks like your thumb is like an inch long.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like a solid 1.5 inches.
How do you
I
you're
have
so
I have
little.
small little sausage hands.
So little.
They're small but not dexterous.
You have dwarf hands.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I can see it wielding a sledgehammer.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want these doing a lot of fine,
No.
delicate work. These are like kind of like
But like,
pudgy meat fingers.
yeah, you don't want them to get around your throat.
Yeah, no, right? Like, not great for delicate work, but if you need someone to like really tear into some bangers and mash,
Yeah.
these are the hands you want.
Those are the hands you want.
Yeah, these hands are great at fish and chips.
The Road to Adepticon, brought to you by Charleston Chew, Snacky S'mores, and War Bonds. Buy more War Bonds to keep our boys flying. Also brought to you by the M1 Grand. Stack 'em high, boys. Stack 'em high.
Shattered.
Join us on our journey to discovery and army building for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Road to Adepticon.
Where we stack 'em high and talk about the shit that we haven't gotten done yet.
Tonight's episode, nothing.
Tonight's episode,
We've been
Procrastination Part 2. Yeah.
Like fucking
Well, so
8.
we've been shitty as a Warhammer 40k team because we haven't had a
AOS,
lot.
we've been doing way better. I think because we're more into AOS
Yeah,
right now.
right. I'm definitely a little more fired up about Age of Sigmar, so I've been playing a lot of games. I've been learning the Nurgle Maggotkin because that's what I'm taking to the single event and the
And I think
doubles.
you've got them down. I played against them a lot. They're really nasty.
Yeah, they're really cool. Like if you're
Nick
looking,
loves Bubondabon.
Nick really loves my Greater Demon. It doesn't make him super pissed, which doesn't make me giggly on the inside.
When Bubondabon regens 10 wounds in a turn.
He's done that a couple times. It's really impressive. He's not good at killing stuff. He's just
not.
really good at not
But
dying.
he won't die.
If you didn't know,
I've tried really hard. That son of a bitch won't die.
right? If you didn't know, Bubondabon is my Greater Unclean One. That's
Yeah.
what I've named him, which is from the novel Dark Imperium. Go read it;
Mhm.
it's really cool. So yeah, I've been doing Maggotkin. I have my army pretty much zeroed in at this point on what I want to
I should
do.
have like a dead whale that they arrive on, like from the Dark Imperium. Like a space whale.
We talked about it, like having a dead corpse whale that like its guts have exploded, like Dark Imperium.
And you just
That's what
march
they're
out of
coming
it, and there's a little flute player.
I think we're doing
a
a
sloppity bile piper.
right. I have a sloppy Wi-Fi. I think we're doing a long ship.
Yeah.
I think we're doing a. So maybe because of the Last Kingdom.
What?
I think we're maybe doing like a Danish long
Like
ship.
a fucking smelly, rotting long
Yeah,
ship.
but like it'll be beached, and we're actually going to be killing a bunch of people. Like,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see. I don't.
See
We
where it
haven't
goes.
finalized the board. We haven't.
I've always thought that the Chaos factions, especially the Nurgle ones, feel a little Saxon or Viking-y.
they're
style.
very Dane to
Yeah.
me. Yeah, they're like Anglo-Danish kind of feel to them, which I get. It's cool. It's the things.
But you guys have pretty much nailed down your list, haven't
Yeah,
you?
we did some changes to it yesterday, and I got rid of one of the
Kinda
characters,
honed
and I put in a Chaos Sorcerer Lord who is super like low key, really good. Like he's terrible at fighting,
Mhm.
but you can put him on a horse and it doesn't change his points. He's only 160 points, and he has the ability to basically, effectively, he can do almost 3 Mystic Shields a turn because he can do Mystic Shield. He has an ability that's basically Mystic Shield that gives reroll 1s on failed saves to a unit, and then he has another spell that casts on a 5 instead of a 6, and it gives you reroll failed 1s to hit, reroll failed 1s to wound, and reroll failed 1s to save. So it's basically super duper Mystic Shield with 1 less casting cost.
And spoiler alert, it has as many Blight Kings as humanly possible.
It does. Actually,
Yeah.
I think we can probably get more. I like literally. I think in my actual big like my solo list, I'm actually thinking about getting rid of the Great Unclean One and taking another 15 Blight.
You would not have
Kings.
Bubondabon?
I wouldn't. I would give up Bubondabon for 15 more Blight Kings.
That's a terrible mistake.
I don't think it is because it's a ton more
Terrible
wounds.
mistake.
It's a ton of.
It's a
wounds.
ton more wounds, but they don't come back like Bubondabon does.
They don't, but they also have better saves and stuff like that. I think they actually kill things is the difference. Bubondabon is really good at not dying. He's not really good at killing stuff.
That's as bad an idea as like putting a gun in your mouth and seeing if it's loaded.
Well, I sometimes like to turn bathe my handguns.
Bad
So,
Mark my words.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I'm gonna play it.
How else would you say Bubondabon all the time?
I will just name one of my Blight Kings Bubondabon.
It's not the same.
It'll be Bubondabon before it becomes a Greater Demon. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I disapprove. But we'll move on.
Yeah. So in our 40k team tournament, we actually are doing work for our 40k team tournament.
It is.
I've been working on some conversions, and so far I've come up with nothing that I like. But I know Richard is working on a few, and we have 3
We
of
had
our
a great
4.
conversion, but then it just got shit on. Like we
I
were gonna,
told him that it wasn't going to work beforehand because I told him exactly that was what was going to happen.
Well, conversion I think would have been cool.
No,
You gotta
so
let him roll.
it's not the conversion that wouldn't work. It was converting that model
it's
instead of using the
basically
Forge World
something
model.
crude about Forge World.
It's not just Adepticon. It's the tournament circuit in general. It's not like it's solo Adepticon because ITC. Does
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
true.
It's all ITC
Yeah.
and Adepticon who isn't necessarily in ITC. At least
I
not for
never
teams.
thought I'd say this because I was always such a Forge World proponent, but I keep leaning more and more towards non-Forge World. Just because the points are so out of whack.
I agree, right? I think Forge World is fun and they make beautiful models.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the stuff they do. I hate it on the table.
I do
because
too.
the rules and points are generally so far off.
Like Leviathan Dreadnoughts, it's like, how did that happen?
Right? How did that get past fucking play testing?
Yes.
It's fucking stupid. And then you have stuff like the Astreus,
It's
Super
just a giant
which
piece
is
of
like
garbage.
700 points and it's a huge turd. Like,
Yeah.
It's way less useful than just a stock
Things
game
seem to be either grossly undercosted or overcosted.
Yeah,
There doesn't seem to
there's
be
no
an
happy
median.
middle ground.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this feels good. Like, this is a reasonable amount
It's
of
like-
points for this thing.
Have a Leviathan. It's
Yeah.
1,000 points and it can't put P-Marines in it, but you got fucking 4 melta guns on
you
it.
can carry 40 TAC Marines in
Yeah.
this thing.
Woo!
Neato. Who gives a shit? That's terrible.
So bad.
So, but yeah, no, I for me, I kind of actually, one of our last events we did without.
Yeah. And I was
Forge World
fine
stuff,
with it, yeah.
And we have an event coming up at the end of this month that has no Forge World stuff in it. And actually, I kind of like that's a little refreshing
I
to
do
me
too.
because I don't have to
I
worry
think
about
the-
a bunch of other shit that I don't remember or don't think about. On
I think the
average.
only one that's really sad about it is Chaos, because it does give Chaos Marines some of their few viable options.
It does.
But
But
the
meh.
bonuses it gives to the Imperium are just insane.
I really think, so this is part of the reason I think that ITC and Adepticon has the rule where you can't proxy a Fire Raptor because they're so good. They're like, you got to use an actual Fire Raptor. And I
It's
think
putting
it's
an
because
actual price cost on
it's
being
putting
able
it.
to do
It is, but I don't disagree with it.
No, it's not wrong.
I like
Yeah,
the
I don't
I
think it's
like
wrong.
that you can't just proxy a bunch of Forge World stuff because I think Forge World recognizes that it is more or less a pay to win sort of
It is.
company. Like they're like, you want badass shit, you're gonna pay for badass shit. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay for these rules.
Do you want to
So-
drive a Ferrari? It's got a Ferrari price tag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you can't just get one
Do
of
you
those
want a street
Ferrari
race?
body kits you
Yeah.
put on a fucking Honda, right? Like Forge World will not. They sell Ferraris, right?
Yep.
ITC will not let you put a Ferrari kit on a Honda. You got to bring in the real fucking Ferrari. Okay,
You do.
like that's just how it works. So I don't have a problem with that. I know some people are angry about it, but I don't have a problem with it because, like, you know, on some level, if you're gonna
You should have
if
to
you're
use
gonna
a real model.
yeah, if you're gonna kick me in
Yeah.
the teeth while I'm down,
Yeah.
then I want you to have had to spend $500 to $600 doing
Yeah.
it. It's like I don't have a problem with that. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would be like, "Oh, that's
But
bullshit."
the
I
ugly
shouldn't have to
side
spend,
of it is recast.
yeah, I shouldn't
It's
have to
the
spend more money to get
unscrupulous
that. I should be able to get it cheap or just make my own. And
And
I
I never-
agree with you for casual games, but in a competitive scene, we're here to win, and we're all actually in this hobby. And you know, if you're like, "Oh, I should be able to play whatever and not have to pay the money," well, fuck
Well,
you.
and I know
don't
there's
say,
guys out
like,
there
you're out of
that-
luck.
That buy exclusively recast. I don't really support that.
I
don't think it's a great thing for
I don't
the
like
company or the
recast.
game.
I think it's a shit thing for the game. I think it's a shit thing for the company.
Yes.
Like if you like Fire Raptors and you want them to be good, don't buy recast Fire Raptors because eventually when they stop selling Fire Raptors, they're going
They're
to
gonna
not update the rules for
discontinue
it and
it.
discontinue it, and it won't be a thing anymore, right? Like that's part of it. Like people are like, oh, I want to get. There's so much like I'm the I always call it.
There's like a weird entitlement
internet
that I
bargain
shouldn't
hunter.
have. And there's a weird entitlement that like, well, I should have access to Forge World and I shouldn't have to pay that cost. I'm like,
Right.
well, no, you don't.
Yeah, right.
Like-
Like that's just it. Like
I want an Omega Speedmaster watch that's $5,000, but
right, and
I can't get one.
I want a Browning Auto 5 and
Yeah.
there's $1,600 shotgun, but I
Yeah.
can't afford a Browning Auto 5 right now in my life, so I don't get one.
Exactly.
Right? And I don't have any entitlement to it. It's a hobby, not a necessity.
It
right?
is, yeah.
And so there's that kind of internet bargain
And
hunter mentality where they're like, I should get it at a cheap price. but
Unfortunately-
shits on things. I think
You know,
devalues it.
a watch, a gun, we would be able to recognize a fake. The problem is once you paint up the models, usually you can't tell, so it lets people
Most
get
of the
away with
time,
it easily.
sometimes you can.
Sometimes
spot a
you
fake,
can, but it's not
but
common.
It's not as easy to
Because
do.
there are some great fakes.
There
out there. There's
really
some
are.
fantastic recasters.
Really good looking stuff. The other thing I think you have to, and this is the thing I think that, and myself included, we're not always conscious about where we're buying from. I don't know if you're one of those guys and you want to buy recast. I mean, I can't stop you. I'm not going to try. But be aware of who you're buying that from. Like, you know, you could pump your money into the English economy, or you could pump it into the fucking Ukrainian economy.
Yeah.
Like, who do you want to support, right?
Mhm.
Like, for me, I choose to support.
Also, if you get
UK
screwed on what they
US.
send you, you're not going to have a lot of remedies.
Yeah, right. Like, you have no legal recourse in China.
No.
So I don't know. I try to actively not send my money to communists as much as possible, like as much as I humanly can. Like,
To
and-
Boris.
yeah, well, Boris or Mao, you know,
Yeah.
anybody. Like I just I don't know. So to get back on
By
track,
American, by
by
British.
American, by British,
Yeah,
by
occasionally French, maybe.
by Western, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting things zeroed in a little bit. We actually do need to start building and painting.
We do.
Really
We
badly.
do have to get a model.
We've got 3 of our 4 lists for 40K rocking and rolling now. We've got them figured out. We just need to start building it. So
Age of Sigmar for me, Nick and I are considering abandoning everything we've worked on.
yeah, you guys kind of like did like a
We were like super, like we already have our lists, we're ready to go, we knew what we were doing, and then yeah, Gloom Spike happened. Also, our list was not as good as we hoped it'd be.
Yeah,
So
because you guys have played 2 different lists now.
we have.
I think also you might want to practice against somebody who's not us.
We do need to practice against someone that's not you, but Nick pointed out something last night. He's like, if it can hold its own against you guys, it can hold its own against anybody. Because he's like, there's literally nothing tougher in the game than what we fought for resiliency.
Yeah, Magakin are probably the most resilient army
Yes.
out there. I having played Fire Slayers and feeling like they're really resilient,
Yeah.
I think Magotkin are more resilient than the Fire Slayers.
I do too.
I think the Zinch army would actually also hose both the armies you guys were playing, especially like the Idneth, because the thing was good about the Idneth is they didn't, his stuff didn't take rend and stuff, but the Zinch guys just chuck mortal wounds.
Yeah.
The Idneth don't stop mortal wounds.
They don't.
So like the Zinch army wouldn't care about your awesome armor; they just throw mortals at you. So if you don't have defense against that, even my Magotkin, I have to be concerned about the Zinch army because not everything I have has a save against a mortal wound. I have to give it saves. So it's a big deal.
But I think that's probably it for this update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out the Road to Adepticon.
Remember to buy them war bonds.
That's
boys.
right. Put a bullet in your best boy's gun.
See you
See you
guys.
later.